It's the Happy Families Podcast. It's the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now.
I love that the kids are so excited to include us in the process. We have one child who is very adamant that everybody has to watch each other open their presents.
And now here's the stars of our show, my mum and dad.
I feel like I want to break into song. I feel like I want to sing Jingle Bells, but the Aussie version. It's kind of weird being in Australia and hearing all of these songs about, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. And
You become a Grinch when all those songs come on.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Yeah. No, I'm not. Well, actually, it might be nice to try it once, but
White Sands.
You know what? Well, that's it. I like the fact that at Christmas time in Australia, we go to the beach. We lay by the pool. Like, it's just the best time of the year for Christmas. I can't imagine doing Christmas in the snow. Oh, by the way, hello, this is Dr. Justin Coulson. Sorry, I've gotten carried away. I'm the author of 6 books about raising a happy family, and my wife, Kylie, Mrs. Happy Family, is the mum to our 6 baby girls who are growing up way too fast. Another Christmas.
Recently I just discovered Marco Polo. It's a new app.
Right. Well, it's not that new, but it's an app. Yep.
It's a new app for me.
Yeah, okay.
And one of my friends, she lives in America, and we've reconnected after about 7 or 8 years of not having much contact at all. And it's been brilliant. And where she lives in America, it's snowing.
She's in Indianapolis.
She is. And
snowing.
She said to me the other day, she said, it's like, 3 degrees at the moment. And tomorrow morning it's supposed to be our first snow of the season. And I messaged her back and I was like, snow for Christmas. Like, that is so exciting. I said, I've heard lots of people tell me that it's actually a real pain up the bum and they don't enjoy it after a while because it's so cold and you get snowed in. And she gave me all the reasons why snow doesn't work. And I said, I know. I said, but it just sounds so romantic. And she got back to me and she was like, it is for the first day.
Yeah, and then
then it's not.
She's just wishing that she was laying by the pool.
It goes all sooty and, it's not nice and white anymore and all of that.
Dashing through the snow on a one horse. First of all, no one dashes through. Well, you don't dash through the snow, but especially in a one-horse open sleigh. Who's going to have an open sleigh in the middle of winter? My goodness.
The snow queen.
I like dashing through the bush in a rusty Holden ute, kicking up the dust, esky in the boot, Kelpie by my side, singing Christmas songs. It's summertime and I'm in my singlet, short and thongs.
There we go.
That's how we do Jingle Bells here in Australia land. Hey, let's talk about some Christmas traditions because everybody's got them and sometimes we just don't realise how awesome they are. My favourite Christmas tradition, I'm going to start, prawns.
Yeah, they're all yours.
Yeah, that's what I love about Christmas. Nobody in my family likes prawns except for me, and I get the whole kilo, except when your mum comes over and I've got to share them with your mum. I love prawns. And
well, a couple of weeks back, we actually did talk about traditions in general as part of book club.
How important they are for building well-being and certainty and identity. So very important for making families happy.
And in that podcast, we actually talked about one of our favourite Christmas traditions being that Santa brings everybody a mango and a ginger beer.
Everyone except me. And as we discovered the other day, Miss Emily, who doesn't want a mango, she wants a pineapple that she can share with us.
Do you want a pineapple too?
No, I'll just share Emily. That's fine. But yeah, so we've got these Christmas traditions. Like I get my prawns and I pretty much get them to myself. And Santa comes with the essentials primarily, and a mango and a ginger beer that the kids can count on from Santa every year. What other Christmas traditions do we have?
When the kids were very, very young, we actually decided that Santa would no longer be the one who brought them their big gifts.
Yeah.
And part of that came because we were actually financially struggling and we couldn't compete with Santa at all as parents, and it kind of seemed a little bit unfair.
Because Santa would bring the kids. So I'm a full-time student. We're renting. We've got 4 kids or whatever it is, 5 kids, and we were like, hang on, we can't compete with Santa. Santa brings the kids these awesome things, and we give them the leftovers. Let's swap that around.
Yeah, totally. So in our house, from the time that the kids can remember, Santa is the one who fills their stockings. And so he's the one that brings them their mango and ginger beer.
Yeah, and their socks and undies.
Yes, those necessities. That's exactly right.
So that's been a little. This is how easy traditions are, right? They're just little miniature things. We've got a bunch of faith-based traditions because we've got a strong faith ourselves, and so we have time reading the Christmas story and reviewing the nativity and talking about what that means with our family. That's how we start off our Christmas morning, usually around the tree, before we even get stuck into any Christmassy stuff, except for the fact that the kids are eating mangoes and drinking ginger beer while we do it.
Well, as part of that, one of the things that the kids have, again, created of their own accord is we made a rule that no one was allowed to open presents until mum and dad were out of bed because we'd miss all the magic of them opening them up. And so they decided, well, was it okay if they opened up their stockings? And we said, okay. But that inevitably means that we end up with 6 children sitting on the end of our bed with their stockings because they're so excited about them and they wake us up anyway.
I love that though. And let's face it, we're in Queensland, so we don't have daylight savings, which means the sun comes up at 4:30. And so you and I are awake by 5 anyway, and we're usually awake even on Christmas Day before the kids, maybe even jump in the pool before them, have a bit of a dip on Christmas Day. What better way to start the day?
I don't like your chances.
Oh, come on. Let's start a new tradition this year. Anyway,
so I love that, and I love that the kids are so excited to include us in the process. We have one child, I'm not going to name her, but we have one child who is very adamant that everybody has to watch each other open their presents because she gets just as excited about seeing what her sisters get as she does opening up her own presents. And that has actually created a beautiful tradition of savouring in our home. There isn't that kind of manic craziness around gifts. There's actually this opportunity for everybody to savour what's being shared and what's being given. And I love that.
Yeah, the research on savouring, that is the amplification or magnification of a positive experience. That's the technical definition of savouring. The data on savouring shows that it's one of the most wonderful ways to well-being. Hey, let's talk about a couple of other traditions in just a sec, and we might even find out what some people are doing for their own Christmas traditions. That's next.
It's the Happy Families Podcast.
Imagine a home where discipline got results without anyone having to feel bad or in trouble. The Do's and Don'ts of Discipline is a webinar to help parents set limits with love, compassion and humanity. Find it now at happyfamilies.com.au/shop.
It's the Happy Families Podcast, the podcast for the time-poor parent who just wants answers now, and we have been talking about Christmas traditions. We asked a few parents what they love about Christmas, the traditions that they have instilled in their children.
We went to Victoria from Queensland to meet up with all our relatives that were down there for Christmas. It was important to spend time with family.
Yeah, look, we've really just tried to instill the value of giving is better than receiving, trying to get the kids thinking about others, maybe other kids who aren't as fortunate as them, rather than just focusing on all the things that they're going to get.
Our family tradition each Christmas is to always go to church in the morning as a family, so trying and instill that in the kids that it's what the real meaning of Christmas is. We go to church and then we try and get them to wait to unwrap their presents till we get home, till after church. And then we just, enjoy the rest of the day together as a family.
So what else do we do? I've been thinking about it, and I'm actually struggling to come up with some others. Oh, one thing that we do, this is something that we've started to do really intentionally in the last handful of years, and it's made Christmas really special, is we have our family Christmases in the days leading up to Christmas. So some weekend, any weekend before Christmas Day, we'll get together with my family or your family, or even maybe after Christmas. And we have our extended family Christmas celebrations on days other than Christmas Day. For our family with 6 children, what that means is we get to have a really quiet, insular kind of Christmas Day just for our kids at home, without all the hustle and the bustle and the drama of the cooking and cleaning and just everything that tires you out. We don't have to do that on Christmas Day. We get to keep Christmas Day as a really sacred little cocoon for our family.
It's one of the things that I love about our Christmas Day. It's just so pleasing to not have any expectations or, parameters around what we do. It's literally up to us. And I love the freedom of it, and I love the intentional way we are able to spend time together without having to worry about, just being stuck in the kitchen for 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, have we got any others or is that about it?
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe you're asking me if there's any more. We've talked about this before, the idea of giving our children a book and a little block of chocolate the night before.
On Christmas Eve.
That's right. And we have loved doing that because we're all bookworms. We all love to read a book, but we get in trouble because we're supposed to turn the lights out at a certain time. So Christmas Eve is the one time where there is no lights out rule. The kids can stay up as late as they want, reading their brand new book. And inevitably, everyone goes to sleep.
Nice and early.
Very early.
And if they don't, who cares, right? Because tomorrow's Christmas Day, and if they sleep in, we can.
That's right. So it works beautifully for so many reasons, and it gives Santa a little bit of extra time to do what they need to do.
So this actually comes from, I found out about this via social media. It's actually an Icelandic tradition called Jólabókaflóð.
Yeah, don't try and say it.
I don't know if I said that right. Jólabókaflóð, and it basically means the flood of books. And it's a tradition that has been happening for decades in Iceland, where they sit down. Obviously, it's cold there, but they've got their hot chocolate. They sit in front of the fireplace and they read books on Christmas Eve. And it's a really peaceful way to settle in for what's going to be a great day the next day.
Well, this year I thought that we needed to kind of just vamp things up a little bit. So I got a bit excited, and I hope the kids aren't listening, but I've brought matching pajamas to go with their books this year. So
what, the books match the pajamas?
No.
Oh, the kids all match one another.
Match each other.
Right, okay.
I'm
great.
super excited
that's
about
great for
that.
the kids. I think that they'll look really cute in their jammies.
Another couple of things that we've done in the past, we every year, now that we're living close to the cousins, we get together and have a Christmas craft day. This year, we're actually going to attempt something we've never done before. We're making gingerbread houses from scratch. So if anyone out there can tell me how to do it without failing, I would love some tips.
Yeah, send it through to podcasts at happyfamilies.com.au. We don't mind that. But the Christmas craft day with the cousins, again, we've got 6 of our own kids. The cousins, there's 5 in one family and there's a handful in the other families that are around. We've got a big family, so it makes this stuff very, very easy. But if you don't have a big family, you can always combine. You can do stuff with friends and bring other people on board.
Over
it comes down to intention and planning. This is how traditions are created.
And we've created a couple of new traditions this year. Again, just organically growing.
Does it count as a tradition if we've only done it once?
It does if the kids say we're doing it again.
Okay, right. So obviously the one Christmas movie per night through the month of December?
Well, we've actually been doing that in the past, but with books. Each Christmas I actually try to find a new Christmas story to add to our collection. And so while the kids were very young, we used to read books together.
I kind of miss that. I'd rather read a book than watch a movie. And books are faster.
You're so bad.
I hate movies.
I am still reading those Christmas stories with Emily, but the big kids don't enjoy reading the little kiddie books. And so, this year we've obviously added the videos to it instead. We've also, this is probably one of my favourite ones, and this has come about because we got to a point where we realised that we're now really, having come out of being students for such a long time, in a position where no one actually needs anything anymore. And Christmas has become so materialistic that we really wanted to kind of just change things up a little bit. And so we have a favourite book, a favourite Christmas book called Christmas Jars, which recently became a movie that the kids love watching. And in it, it just talks about, somebody who started this small tradition in their home where they just collected all of their loose change through the year. And at Christmas time, they would anonymously leave it on somebody's doorstep who needed it. And so that one person has actually started this whole new tradition.
Like a worldwide movement of Christmas jars.
And you can Google it and you can see all of the different stories that have come about as a result of this wonderful selfless giving. And so in our family, we decided a few years ago that that's what we would do. And we actually included our extended family in it. And so it's not about how much you put in the jar. It's about what we collectively are able to do, because every cent counts. And so each year as a family, we come together, we talk about who we might share it with. And sometimes it's a charity, sometimes it's somebody we know. And this year, we're doing something a little bit different. I've actually become associated with a local charity who deals with families that are either experiencing homelessness or domestic violence in our local area. And at Christmas time, they do a Christmas toy drive, and they actually go and door knock each door to find out who the children are, what their ages are, and then hand pick gifts that have been donated to them to actually meet those children's ages and needs. And so this year, as our family culminates all of our gatherings and collections from, our year's coinage, we have actually assigned each of the children a little budget to go and purchase gifts for a child of their sex and age. And I'm so excited for them to actually be a part of the process, because it's one thing to give a jar of money away, but as our children actually have the opportunity to specifically think about somebody who has less than them and be able to give them something that they wish they could get. I'm so excited for them to be involved in that process. So the giving jar has been something that we have just loved initiating in our home.
So I just Googled it, by the way. The Christmas jar tradition is based on the 2005 New York Times best-selling novel by Jason Wright. So we've got the book, but I didn't know that it was a New York Times bestseller. Jason Wright, it's called The Christmas Jar, I think it is there. And the idea is you just save up some cash or throw your spare coins in there, and then you give the money away to somebody in need, or in this case, go and actually, the closer you can get your kids to the actual giving to the person in need, the more meaningful it is. I can't wait to report back and talk about how the kids go with it. I'm really excited for that. So there's some of our Christmas traditions. We'd love to hear about yours. podcasts@happyfamilies.com.au. That's the email address for you to be able to get in touch with us. We'd love to get your feedback. We'd love to hear what you're doing to make Christmas meaningful at your place. In the meantime, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Christmas in Australia on a scorching summer's day. Hey! We would love to get your feedback. Leave your ratings and reviews for the podcast at Apple Podcasts so that everyone can find out about how much you enjoy the podcast and make their families happier. Our podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Our executive producer is Craig Bruce. If you'd like more information about how I can help make your family flourish, especially if you'd like to have ongoing monthly support via our amazing Happy Families memberships, visit happyfamilies.com.au.